Good morning, secretaries. I guess it could be afternoon if you're watching this in the afternoon, or even evening. We are trying our new secretary training in a new way this year, and I think it's going to be great for everyone. You don't have to come up and sit through 3 hours of training during the busiest time of the year, and so I hope this works for you. Let us know. But I'm Angela Grunwald, Superintendent of Schools here in Edmond, and I just want you to know you are working in the best place possible, and I want to thank you for all that you're doing, especially right now in August in this crazy time. If you're new, you're probably wondering, what did I sign up for? It gets better, I promise. When the kids get in the building and you get to see those smiling faces, it gets better. So I just want to say welcome and introduce myself, and I hope you enjoy this training, and I hope it works for you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan Lindsay, Director of the District's Child Nutrition Program. We take care of all of the cafeteria and student meal needs. We don't, however, handle any of the vending machines, so you'll need to see your financial secretary at the school if you have any questions regarding vending machines. The free and reduced meal application is a big part of what we do administratively, and we prefer parents to apply online for the fastest, most accurate processing. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes for parents to submit it online, and the application is completely processed in our software within a day if they submit it online. We also have paper copies available in the cafeteria if needed, but they might take up to 2 weeks to be processed. School educational funding is also based on our free and reduced information, so it's really important that as many people apply as possible. Families that qualify, they also are eligible for some other benefits if they're approved, such as utility and testing discounts. We have a registered dietitian, Kayla Hover, in our office, and she works with parents and staff regarding any special dietary needs, such as diabetic or disabled students. We get quite a bit of catering requests in our office, usually for breakfast meetings or box lunches, and Shamaria Estes can take care of whatever you need as far as catering. The most important thing we want you to know and remember is to just call us if you have any questions or if you need anything from us or child nutrition related. That's a lot easier than you trying to remember all of the details about our program. Our office number is 2889, and anyone that answers in our office can get you in touch with the right person. So hopefully that covers all the typical questions that come your way. So thank you and welcome to Edmond Public Schools.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Harriman. I am the Purchasing and Contract Supervisor for the district. I have an easy email address for any questions you may have. It is purchasing@edmondschools.net. Imperial Vending services the vending machines in your building with food and snacks. If you have a need to contact them, there is a sticker on the machine with contact information and a machine ID number. Please reference that ID number when contacting them. Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages is our beverage provider. We have an exclusive contract with them. This means our entire district, including booster clubs, purchases and serves Coca-Cola products only, including Dasani water. In return for this exclusivity, our district sites receive sponsorship funding and donated product from Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages. If you are serving Coca-Cola products, you may purchase them from Sam's Club, for example. But if you are selling Coca-Cola products, you must purchase from Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages. Our sales representative is Jermaine Williams. His contact information is on the R drive under Business Office Information. Food truck vendors, before being allowed on school property, must provide a current insurance certificate and a sex offender affidavit. The approved food truck list is available in Google Sheets. If you need access to this document, please contact Michelle Russell, Executive Assistant to CFO Lori Smith. The sex offender affidavit form is found on the R drive under Business Office Information. Facility rentals must be coordinated through the business office. If you have an organization, including your PTO, inquiring about renting your building or athletic field, please direct them to Michelle Russell in the business office. If your school or department needs to pay a vendor for goods or services, please first check the vendor list on the R drive to see if they are an active vendor. If they are not, have them complete a vendor registration form, also known as a VRF, located on the R drive, and return it to you. Then you email the VRF to me, and I will reply to you with any questions I may have, or I will reply with the vendor number when they have been added to the list. A vendor should be approved and active before any charges are placed on a P card. Contracts must be board approved and signed by our superintendent. Contracts can also be called user agreements or terms and conditions. If a signature is required on a document and the indication is that you are agreeing to terms and conditions by signing, it must be reviewed, board approved, and signed by our superintendent. Please forward unsigned contracts as soon as possible to me for review. Many times we cannot agree to the terms, and the process of revising the contract can take several days and sometimes weeks. If documents do not require a signature, they do not need review. Please contact me with any questions. I am happy to help.
Hello there, school secretaries. First off, let me start by saying how much you are appreciated in Edmond Public Schools. My stepmother was a school secretary for years and years and years, not in this district, but in another district out of state, and I have heard the stories. I have also been in our school sites, and I have seen you work your magic. I've seen you answer the phone while you're accepting a lunch that someone forgot, while you're putting a Band-Aid on a knee. I appreciate so much all that you are doing, and I want to make sure that you know that. I'm here just to impart a little bit of information about the world that I live in. I'm the Director of Communications for Edmond Public Schools. My name is Susan Park-Schlepp, and I deal with all of the media. And from time to time, and it's pretty rare, but from time to time, you will receive a phone call from media. More than likely, it will be local. Sometimes it will be national. As those of you who have been around the district for a while know, we have had some stories go national. That's upsetting sometimes when you get that phone call because somebody's looking for a piece of information and they're looking for it quickly. I'm here just to tell you how to walk through that and what you need to do. They are looking for that information and you can provide that by sending them to me. So all you need to do is tell them you are directed to call the Director of Communications at Edmond Public Schools, Susan Park-Schlepp. She's at the district office. All press inquiries go through her office. They may continue to ask you things like, well, can you just confirm that XYZ is occurring at your school? Your answer should be, again, all press inquiries go through Susan Park-Schlepp at the district headquarters. This is typically not a reporter who's trying to do an end around and get information, that they shouldn't be. Usually it's a new reporter to this market. Sometimes it's a national reporter who doesn't know what our system is, and they're just trying to get the information and get it quickly. So they're going to the source of where the event may be occurring. Just be kind. Direct them to the district office. We will take care of it. And of course, I work with the administrative team and with the superintendent. And we are probably already on the phone with the site administrator at that point, getting to the bottom of what is going on at the school. That's all I wanted to say to you today. My email is susan.parkschlepp, P-A-R-K-S-S-C-H-L-E-P-P @edmondschools.net. 2 S's, 2 P's. I know, that's a mouthful. Thank you again for all you do, and have a great year.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Randy Decker, Associate Superintendent of HR, and this is for our site secretaries meeting. And so wanted to go through some things here. I'll go through them pretty quickly. If you ever have any questions, you certainly can contact me at randy.decker@edmondschools.net. So we're going to talk today about substitute teachers. We're going to talk about class counts and safety and a few other things. And so let's get started. So to start with substitute teachers, and many of you will be dealing with those, I wanted to let you know of a couple of changes. One is we did a pay increase for substitute teachers. And so at this time, it is $70 a day. For non-certified, $80 a day for certified, and if a teacher has does a long-term substitute position, which is 20 days or more, then it is $231 a day. And so certainly well worth that. They do have to have a teaching certificate in the area that they're long-term subbing, and they have to do 20 days. I will tell you one change after that is once they do their first long-term job, if they do another one, they don't have to start back and do 20 additional days. They would start with day one as a long-term sub. A couple of things about the long-term sub. They do have to be certified in the subjects they're teaching, and again, they have to do the 20 days. Contact Deborah Bivens if you have questions on this, because she has the form that you'll need to complete to make sure that the sub does get the appropriate pay. Jumping now to class counts real quickly. These are done weekly, certainly early on. Sometimes we do 2 a week. And one of the things I would probably say about this is the employment decisions are made upon this. We are looking at hiring teachers. After these class counts come out, we look and see if we need to add classes somewhere or other positions. So your class counts are critical to us in making sure that we're staffed appropriately. What I would encourage you to do is find a mentor to help you, somebody who has experience in this. So find someone at another school that's done this, and they can walk you through that. If there's students on your roster, and this will be really relevant at the beginning of the year, if there's students on your roster that haven't been to school and that you haven't heard from, contact them to see what they're planning to do for the school this year, because if they're not on our rolls, we need to get them off. And the key date for that is October 1st. All of our funding is contingent upon how many students we have on October 1st. So we'd encourage you to get these counts right, and October 1st, that's when we're going to be funded for all the students that are here. If you have any questions on the class count, Claire LaSalle is the one who does those. Her number is 340-2913. Jumping to some COVID-related things, Total Wellness is a program and a company that we partner with. They do the wellness screenings that you all know every year. This year we're doing it in September, so people will be able to get flu shots and other vaccinations, not COVID at the wellness screenings, but many of the other normal vaccinations they'll be able to get at that time. Employees only have to show proof of insurance if they go to this. Proof could be any insurance. It doesn't have to be the insurance that the district provides. If they're getting it through a spouse or family member, that's fine as well. In addition to the screenings that we do every year, Total Wellness is doing 2 COVID testing hubs right now. One is at Cross Timbers, and another one is here at the Administrative Center. The one here at the Administrative Center is for employees and their children only. The other one at Cross Timbers can be for anybody, employees, but it could be for students and family members living in their household as well. A health provider is available there. It's really a telehealth visit, so when people go in to get tested, they'll meet with a doctor, and that's how this whole model works. And this doctor can prescribe medications as well. So just wanted you to know that that's available, and you should. We email out frequently the information, so you can pass that on. If you have students coming to the office that need to be tested for COVID or flu or strep, they can go to these hubs and get everything taken care of. A couple of other things I want to hit on right now is related to safety, which is probably one of the most important things that we do that's not in the classroom. Mike Johnston is our safety coordinator. We're also hiring an assistant safety coordinator due to all that's gone on this year with COVID and all the safety needs that we have. We, in addition to that, we have district radios new district radios that we've purchased. So you should have one in your building, have it in the office area. It may be in the principal's office. It will connect you to the rest of the district. Later on this year, Edmond Police will come out and program these so that that radio can connect directly to Edmond Dispatch. So if you have an emergency, you can contact them that way as well. You always dial 911 if you need to, but these radios will help you keep in contact with them as well. One big thing I would probably share with you is just having a situational awareness of what's going on around you. And I've used this analogy several times, but you know, we have apps for everything nowadays. You want to order food, there's an app for that. You want to get a ride somewhere, there's an app. We need you to have an app to notice when something's not right in the school. Maybe it's two students that look like they're about to get in a fight. You don't have to know what's wrong all the time, but you have to know that something's not right and act. And maybe it's just water on the floor around a pre-K area in an elementary, and so you're avoiding injuries in that case. Maybe it's a door opened at the high school, and it may just be two students that are working together because one's coming late to class, but it may not be. We need to have an app that alerts us when something doesn't look right. And it causes you to do the right thing, and that is to tell somebody, grab another teacher, grab another support employee, whoever that is, and make sure that you address the situation or get somebody there to address it. And I can't tell you how important that is. Here's what I know, and what we know in today's world is we're not always safe in a grocery store, at a concert, in a movie theater. We know in schools there have been safety incidents, restaurants, you name it. We're not always safe. We've got to be alert. But here's what I do know that we have over anybody else out there, and that is we have 25,000 students and 3,000 employees. That's 28,000 people in our 34, 35 sites every day. If we're watching for things that aren't right, we can make it a safer place. Does it mean we can stop everything from happening? No. But we can stop a lot of things from happening if 28,000 people are on the lookout for something that doesn't seem right. And probably more importantly than that, and I'll talk about badges here in just a second, is to make sure that everybody has a badge. And every student has a badge, and that anybody that's in your building has a right to be there. Noticing that is probably one of the most important things you can do. Also related to safety, I would mention real quickly is workers' comp. We want to make sure that you are safe. The number one injury that we have are slips, trips, and falls. And so making sure you're careful in those areas. Another thing is to use carts. Don't try to pick heavy objects up. We have carts. We have step ladders. Don't stand on unstable chairs and those kinds of things. But all of those things can help us be safe. Here's what I would tell you is if you get hurt, you always fill out an injury report. If your staff gets hurt, we need to make sure they fill out an injury report. Whether or not they go to the doctor is up to them. And really the rule we use there is we ask people if this injury had occurred at home and it was on your dime and your insurance, would you go to the doctor? If they tell you they would go to the doctor, then you need to call me or you need to call Carla Cormack, and either of us can authorize treatment at McBride Clinic. But always have them fill out the report, because let's say that they wait for a few days, they don't want to go to the doctor right away, but it gets worse. You'll have that report that we will have on file, and then we can authorize that treatment. But we want to make sure everybody is safe, so help us with that. Finally, what I would mention on the last is related to badges, and that is checking that all people in the building are wearing a badge. Crystal Rodriguez is overseeing employee badges right now, and that's extension 2966. She's your contact person. If somebody loses their badge, notify her immediately so that we can turn it off, because it's really a key. If they have access to a lot of buildings or even one building, that's a key. So we need to make sure that it gets turned in quickly so we can deactivate it. Badges are at all sites, and so administrators' buildings have building access for 24 hours a day, while other staff members have access typically from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. If an employee changes his or her home site, that's where you need to contact Crystal, because we will need to make sure that we cut off access at one place and give them access at the other school where they're moving to. If it's not working, again, you could call Crystal or you could call Mike Johnston, our safety coordinator. Other than that, trying to move quickly, that's really all I have for today. We hope that you have a great school year. Please know we're here to serve you. The HR department is here to meet whatever needs you have, whether that has to do with getting new employees onboarded, whether it has to do with time cards, workers' comp, benefits, all those types of things, substitutes, all of that falls in HR, and we're here to help you. Just give us a call. Thanks, and have a great day.
Okay. Hi, I'm Terry Smith, supervisor of Edmond Public Schools Print Shop. Well, today we're going to go over the print request and hopefully answer some questions that you might have when you're filling out a print request to send over to the print shop to have a job done. It's also a D14 form that you can also find on the print request resource page of Edmond Public Schools. There's also a price sheet there that you can also look at. But the main thing on the print request is making sure it is filled out correctly and all shaded areas are filled in, because it's very important for us to be able to bill it out properly and also to be able to make sure that we're doing the job correctly for you. Please don't leave anything blank on there, because that causes problems by us trying to either track you down or trying to figure it out for ourselves. So it's really self-explanatory. Each section has a square box and kind of walks you through that. Maybe some things that you'll need to follow there is the fact that whether you want it to be collated, which collated means 1, 2, 3, or if you want the job to be grouped, which means if you want 100 pages of group page 1 or 100 pages of group 2 or 3, that's what group is. So hopefully that'll help you understand that a little bit better. But we are here to serve in any way we can. Also, when you go down a little further down into the print request, you'll find binding, stapling, spiral, glue, wraparound glue. Now the wraparound glue is a little different. It's actually 11 by 17 sheet that actually wraps around the 8.5 by 11, makes a cover, and we glue that. We have to have at least 30 pages in our glue machine to be able to do that. So it's a little different than just a regular glue on the side. The glue on the side basically looks like a pad, like a scratch pad. Also, we can do saddle stitching, which saddle stitching is basically taking an 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17, folding it in half and putting 2 staples in it to where it makes it a booklet for you. But then also when you get to the NCR forms, the NCR forms that we have are 2-part, 3-part, and 4-part. So when you ask for NCR, please make sure and verify that which kind of NCR that you do need to have the job run on. If there's any other questions whatsoever, you feel free to call us at 304-2849 and ask for anyone working there. They should be able to help you walk through this print request. But please make sure that all shaded areas are filled in properly. That way we know, like, we can bill it general, activity, or third party. Also have your principal sign it. Somebody in the building has to sign it, mainly a principal. That way they know what is being printed and how it's been built out. And so basically that's really it. It's a really easy form to fill out. Like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us. Also, we have the price sheet there that is also on there. It's not been updated as far as the year, but it is still the same prices, have not gone up since 2017, I believe. Then we have generic forms. Generic forms are district, high school, middle school, and elementary. Now, all forms on that list does not mean that we carry it, because some forms have been taken away to where they make it a little more easier for the schools to use. But on the print request in general, everything has to come over copy ready. We don't have an artist over there to design anything or to move anything. Basically, when you send it over, please let us know whether it's going to be front or back. If you send the job over front only and it's not marked whether to go front and back or front only, we will run the job exactly like it is. So please keep that in mind. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please call us. We're here to help and be a service to Edmond Public Schools. Thank you very much.
Okay. Do you guys want to go first?
Yeah.
My name's Wade Mosley.
My name's Brent Young.
We're the assistant directors of transportation, and basically, as we tell the little ones, we're principal of the bus. We deal with discipline on the bus. You will see us at your school, and when we show up, usually we're asking for a student so we can visit them about bus issues. And know that we bring principals in on that usually, and did I miss anything?
I think you got it covered.
Okay, that's our part. Victoria now.
Hi, I'm Victoria from Transportation. I will be doing the routes for the special education side of transportation. And we just want to mention Eric Thornbrew can be reached at extension 3199, and he handles our extracurricular trips and field trips. Any questions concerning special education students can be directed to Rhonda Paulus at extension 3209 or myself at extension 3212. And our special education transportation requests must be submitted by the student's teacher of record, and it usually takes about 3 to 5 days to place the student on a route after we've received that request. For our students on the big buses, they cannot ride home with other students on different buses unless there is an emergency or for childcare purposes. Those requests must be submitted in an email form to help us maintain a written record of the request. That email address is going to be dispatch, dispatch at edmondschools.net. No registration is required to ride the big buses. The students just need to be out at the bus stop about 5 minutes before the time listed online. We use eLink, and eLink can be found in the app launcher folder on your computer, and you just type in the student's address and the grade and it'll pull up their bus stop information. If you have any other questions about transportation or need copies of your school's maps, please contact our main office line at extension 2962. And for any bus stop changes or bus stop additions in a neighborhood or an area, those need to be submitted in an email to our route coordinator at busstops, plural, at edmondschools.net, all one word.
Hi, we're so glad to have you joining the EPS team. I'm Valerie Johnson, the head nurse for the district. There are a few things I want to make you aware of, but these things will be covered in greater detail in later trainings or by your school nurse. The first thing I want you to know is that your school nurse is assigned to more than one building. Most of our nurses are split between two schools, but some have 3. We do our best to make sure that the needs of all sites are covered, but there will be times when we are out of the office. Because we cannot always be in the clinic, we count on the office staff to help us in many ways. The principal at each site is responsible for delegating staff members to assist in medication administration and diabetes care. These staff members are frequently the office staff because you have easy access to the clinic and all of the students in the building. The nurses teach medication and diabetes classes, so if you're assigned to these duties, more information will be given to you. When students come to see the nurse and we are out of the office or busy with another student, we count on you to do some basic first aid and documentation. Please be sure that you communicate with your nurse to know where the important supplies are and how to use equipment like thermometers correctly. We track the number of office visits, so please be sure that every student that comes to the clinic has an office pass. Those passes are also available from your nurse. There are a couple policies that I would like to quickly introduce. All medication on school property must be accompanied by a medication authorization form, signed by both the parent and a licensed prescriber. Prescription medications must come in a prescription bottle, and the pharmacy label must match the orders on the medication authorization form. All over-the-counter medications must come in new, unopened containers. Check with your nurse to learn more about medication check-in and storage. The medication policy, medication authorization forms, and many other useful medical forms are available on the EPS website under the Health Services tab. Every student must provide proof of up-to-date immunizations or a certificate of exemption before attending school for the first time. Our immunization policy can also be found on the EPS website under the Health Services tab. If you are a registrar, more information detailing this process will be provided to you. CPR training is available through the American Red Cross and taught by our EPS school nurses. The schedule and instructions will be provided to you. The district policy on head lice can also be found on the district website. Students are only sent home for live lice, not only nits. Once it is confirmed that a student has lice, the student will be sent home and must be checked by an EPS nurse before returning to school. Hepatitis B immunizations are available at no cost to EPS employees. This is a series of 3 shots over a 4-month period. Check with your school nurse for more information. please take note of the Poison Control hotline number. Poison Control can be reached by calling 1-800-222-1202. Poison Control is a very good resource, and you should never be afraid to utilize their services or seek their expertise. American Red Cross has a first aid app to walk you through many emergency situations. There are times in the school setting when you must call 911. Place a 911 call from a landline phone to automatically notify EPSAC of the call and display the school address for 911 dispatchers. If a student is having trouble breathing and does not have emergency medication or does not improve with the medication, call 911. If you have to use an EpiPen or other emergency medication, such as seizure medications, call 911. If a student with diabetes passes out, call 911. IMSA does not charge unless they transport. Do not hesitate to call for help when needed. Thank you so much for listening, and please know that you can reach out to me or your school nurse if you have any questions.